your name?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi Menon.
Yes, sir.
Who is the famous Lakshmi Menon
Sir,
you have heard about?
there is Lakshmi in Menon. She was Rajya Sabha member from Kerala, and she was also Minister of State for Ministry of External Affairs.
And more recently, there is another Lakshmi Menon who is very famous in social engineering.
Yes, sir, I have heard of one Lakshmi Menon who was...
What is her contribution, do you remember?
but I am not sure about her contributions.
Ammathiri, Valakkadiri.
Sorry, sir, I'll read.
Toilers. She brought in a lot of socio-economic changes. So since you are another Lakshmi Menon, you better read up on her.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll read
There are
up.
lots of things she has done. Okay, so what is your main subject? I mean, optional subject?
Sociology, sir.
And that's what you did in college?
No, sir.
What did you do in college?
I did engineering in electronics and communication engineering from Palakkad NSS College of Engineering.
Oh, good. Palakkad has produced a number of civil servants. The
Yes.
NSS college, no? You know that?
Yes, sir. There are.
Quite a few. At least 2 or 3 every year.
Yes.
So I went there to try and promote, but then they had no time to do anything other than engineering. I discovered. But that college is done well. You should know. Every year at least 2 or 3 get into the civil services, which is
So-
better than the average. So what is good about the Palakkad Engineering College? Different from others?
I believe Palakkad Engineering College is a NSS College of Engineering. Palakkad is a good college in multiple aspects. One thing is the history that it is having, because it's the 4th engineering college in Kerala. So the tradition is there, and the faculty there is really good. Then the infrastructure there is also really good.
Infrastructure is not so good, right?
Sorry, sir?
Is the infrastructure so good?
Infrastructure, as in for our mechanical engineering, the labs, there are so many lathes which I have seen in some private colleges. There were not many. So we have provision for working in one machine, one person. So such a facility is there, but it's a little bit old.
The building
Still,
is-
yes, sir.
So why are you shifting away from engineering?
Sir, I worked in engineering field for.
Are you
2.5
working now?
years.
Are you working now?
No, sir. Then I was working in TCS, and at that time I was working for a power plant, and we had the opportunity to work for both the Indian and Japanese power plant, and I came to know that we had provision for including NO2, SO2, all those aspects. But while Japanese were taking these contributions from our side, the Indian counterparts were saying that they will take care of it later. Currently, they will take care of the minimization of flue gas exit temperature, so that the money spending will be less and profit will be more. So they were more concentrated towards the profit part.
So
Then
what will you do with all this knowledge in the IAS? Have you opted for the IAS?
Yes, sir, my first option is IAS.
Okay. So how are you going to bring it all into use?
Sir,
You may be in animal husbandry, you may all know, isn't it? You're
Yes.
not likely to be in a department where engineering is so crucial. So how are you going to make use of that? In what way are you good for the civil service as an engineer?
Sir, being an engineer, the first aspect of taking engineering is that it gave me understanding about my surroundings. So I will be more observant about what is to look at. Like if I am in animal husbandry, the way how it can, like a policy can be implemented, that aspect and the scientific thinking can come from engineering aspect. And other part is that in engineering we are studying almost 50 plus papers. So there is an aspect of studying something from the scratch and getting a conversant level of understanding in that. So this also will help me to work in a field which I am posted new to.
Well, I've had colleagues, engineers in the foreign service. And what I have noticed about them is they are more problem solving oriented.
Yes.
They may not be very good in building a story, but you will always find them pointing towards a particular solution. Is that your experience? Do you think you have that particular capability as an engineer? which will help you in your administration.
Sure, sir. I believe that the way we deal with the subject, the scientific process of thinking has come about, which will concentrate more on problem solving aspect. So I believe that will be there when I reach to the administrative position.
But a lot of what you have learned will become irrelevant also.
Yes, sir, but I'll try to make sure that the core aspects of those things are with me, so that whenever there is a necessity, I can put it into practice.
Okay. How much do you have interest in international relations? Do you think it's an important subject to study?
Yes, sir. I believe for a good citizen and for a person who is curious about things happening, international relation, we have to understand some idea about international relations. And as a person, I am interested in international relation, but it is not my most favorite subject.
All right. But look at the Ukraine-Russia war.
Yes, sir.
There are several elements in it which are engineering oriented.
Yes, sir.
How is Russia, for example, withstanding the sanctions? So it is good to know what their supplies of oil, where they can sell, what they can do. And the fact that they have sustained themselves for 2 years shows that technology can be an effective tool in foreign policy and foreign relations and war.
Yes, sir.
Can you think of any other case where technology can be vital in decision making internationally?
Sir, in international relations, in many aspects, we can consider technology to be one of the important area. Like in our relation with Israel-Palestine, Palestine and India has been having a lot of technological cooperation, be it in agriculture or defense.
So it is more with Israel now rather than with Palestine.
No, sir.
Isn't it? Our cooperation with Israel in these things, agriculture, technology, is much more than with Palestine, because Palestine is not even a state.
In technological aspect, our cooperation is more with Israel. However, that is only one part of international relations. There are so many other parts, like the historical reason. In 1947, we were the first to acknowledge that Palestine resolution in United Nations. So I believe.
But do you know how we voted on that resolution?
I believe we supported the Palestine.
No, we didn't. Please remember, we voted against.
Sorry,
we
sir.
voted against that resolution, saying that Palestine or Israel should remain undivided. There should be a common community. But the day after the resolution was adopted, we recognized both states.
I apologize, sir.
Sorry?
I apologize, sir. It was a mistake on my side.
There's something which you miss out, because people will think that everybody voted. But that was a big shock at that time, because the whole thing was built by international consensus and India voting against it. So we had to do a lot of explanation at that time. But that has helped us now, because when all these troubles come, we say not two states, we told you one state. Right? So with wisdom of hindsight, maybe we did the right thing. Suppose it was a united government. But how can it affect us if the situation gets worse, purely as India?
Sir, Israel-Palestine issue? Sir, first thing is that Middle East itself is very important for India, be it about the non-residential Indians. So,
how many Indians are there in the Middle East?
I do not know the correct numbers.
You must know.
Yes,
particularly Malayalis must know.
Yes, sir.
8 million.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
So that aspect itself is one of the striking reason why we have to maintain peace in that region. Then the next aspect is that because of the Israel-Palestine issue, we have a problem in the Red Sea corridor, from where most of the export and import of petroleum is happening. So India being one of the most
efficient navy also.
Efficient navy and exporter of petroleum to European countries, we have to make sure that the transmit of ships are not affected. So that part also we have to take care of in trade aspect, and in navy part also, security base also, as a responsible global player, we have to make sure that the situation is under control.
And more recently, we have been working with both Israel, United States, and even UAE together. There is a quad:
Yes, sir.
UAE, Israel, India, United States.
Yes, sir.
That was a very good, it had good prospects for us. But now it is completely ruined, because that is the reason why the Palestinians struck at this time. Because if this was signed, if that Saudi Arabia, US, Israel contract was signed, that would be the end of Palestine forever. So that is the reason why they decided to strike at this time, because Hamas understood that if done, once this is agreed, nobody will be supporting them. And they have succeeded in that, even though they lost 22,000 people. But still, that objective has been realized. But that has a very negative impact on us. Because a new world was being created in the Middle East, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel, United States cooperating. But that is now ended. So now we have to have invent something new for the Middle East. So if Russia-Ukraine will not affect us to that extent. Of course that will affect us, it's already affected us. But it's a little bit more distant than the... So do you think we can play a role in bringing about a solution to the Middle East?
Yes, sir. Being a country which is having talking terms with both Israel and Palestine and maintaining good relations with both, I believe India has a role to play. And also India being one of the responsible global player and being projected as the voice of Global South, we are responsible and we have the
Who is
role.
projecting, we or others?
I believe our action is broadcasting the...
But is it being recognized or understood or appreciated?
Yes, sir. In the G20, we conducted the Voice of Global South meeting.
Meetings are not enough. Does the world accept that theory that we are leaders of the Global South?
Yes, sir.
No?
In the G20, I believe in
Why
the
didn't
G20...
China come to the G20?
I believe US made the statement that India has represented the Global South, and we also vouched for...
They want to be the leader of the Global South. Simple as that. Whenever China invades us, you ask a question as to why. Do you know the answer that they give? To teach India a lesson. And what is that lesson? Is that we will not give leadership of the world to India or even to Asia. That is what they taught us in 62. So 2020 also they are teaching us the same lesson. So we have now become confrontational with China in many ways. And this is one of the aspects. And the other thing is that Russia is now in collusion with China. You are aware?
Which, sir? Sorry, I didn't...
So Russia and China had an agreement signed just before the Ukraine war broke out. You are not aware?
Is it the Power of Siberia project?
No. It's a military alliance. They have said that if one country is attacked by anyone else, the other country will come to its rescue, which is a military alliance. So Russia was never on our side as far as China is concerned, but they were at least neutral. But now we have a situation where both Russia and China are against us to a certain extent, because we are trying to save our relations with Russia. So how do you see the future of the world? Who are going to be our friends?
Sir, is it...
India's friends?
Sir, India having a history of non-alignment movement, I believe we have to do a tightrope walk, and we should understand that the stand of US was not always supporting India or opposing India, and there is also a way of domestic politics being affecting their external
But
affairs.
where do we stand vis-a-vis United States now? Are we closer to the US than before? Or
Yes, sir.
Since when?
Sir, I believe from the 123 agreement, we have been warming up our relation with United States, and it have reached a big position when we conducted the Howdy Modi event and Namaste India event, and now also we are having the same relations, or which is at the peak.
Have you heard of the Pannoon case?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
The United States is accusing us of plotting to kill an American citizen. If you haven't heard that, you better check.
I'll read
They
about it.
publicized it. And it's more serious than what the Canadians have said. Canadians have said we have killed somebody. And they are producing evidence that we were. The person is in jail who did that. So it's a very serious, such a charge has been made against India. And the US doing that is a very serious matter. So in all this, what I see is some kind of a price we pay for our success in G20. Because people are resenting the fact that India is kind of scoring too many goals. So that is an important challenge that we have to face. What is the solution if you are the External Affairs Minister?
Sir, I believe when we are aspiring for heights, we have to make sure that there will be opposition from different aspects, and this has to be dealt with responsibility. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has said, this is not a time for war, so we have to make sure that proper discussion and debate has been happening with each and every player.
But after he said that, is the war has become less in the world or more?
Sir, as of now,
there was no Middle East conflict at that time.
No.
When he said that, right?
No.
So the people are proving it to him that is also an era of war and conflict. Anyway, that's apart from that. But we must have a vision now as to where we go. It has to be necessarily pro-democratic.
Yes.
You agree?
Yes.
So if the world is now going to be divided between democracies and autocracies, we have to stand with the United States.
Yes.
We do not have an option. And that is why the Quad is important, and that's why your relations with the United States, despite the Menon case, is going well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, I like your answer on how engineers can strengthen civil service. Okay, there's one more point. You could also say that engineers are analytical, so they understand both sides of issues and they can therefore arrive at a better, efficient, effective problems, the solution to problems. Okay, my question is, supposing you were offered a post, you say the post is given to you for your choice. You're aware of the posts on the IAS, right? In secretariat, forget the district director or whatever. It's graduates. What is the one post you would like to do? You know the various departments will be there?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would be happy to work in any post because...
Right. Yeah.
That sounds like Kadannapalli. He said, any ministry I'll be good.
Let's say.
Ma'am, as a sociology student, I would like to, if I have given an option, I would like to start with the Women and Child Affairs Department, because I believe my understanding in sociology will help a lot in policy making or that.
So what policy do you want to make in that department which doesn't exist now?
Ma'am, I think there is a lot of policies that's already there and it's really doing well, but somehow the penetration to the bottom level is not as good. Like if I take the condition of my district, there is a region, the coastal region has not have that much literacy rate. Even though overall the literacy rate of women is around 91%, in coastal region it is not that much. This is also leading to the dropouts and early marriages. So I believe using technology, because I am from my engineering background also, using technology for improving the penetration of education will be one aspect. Like I will take the experience of Unayan Banga, which has been implemented in Bihar by Kundan Kumar, which takes care of, which gives importance to ICT for the education. So even if the people are dropping out, we can have a curated approach.
Do you feel the Women and Child Department needs a policy to prevent dropouts? In Kerala, is it applicable?
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat?
In Kerala, is this dropout issue amongst girls or women a significant issue, or is it something else? It's more to do with career break, and post-career break, how do you bring in women into this? Actually, you can say whatever you want to that answer,
Yes.
But I thought you would say something to do with data and communication and e-governance, because that is your forte, and there's a lot to do in that. Okay? But then it's up to you to say. And to say that you will use digital means to reduce the dropout rate or to skill them is a good answer, because the way forward is of course using ICT tools, but then there are challenges to taking it forward in terms of providing the equipment. Okay, tell me, are you an active user of the social media?
I can say I'm a user of social media, but I'm not as much active as an average individual.
Okay, so there are several IAS officers, you must have known, who have used social media. So should IAS officers be using social media?
Ma'am, in their official capacity, I believe we can use social media as a way of making awareness among the people. Like we can see in Kerala itself, in time of flood, we have utilized social media in a very beautiful way so that the volunteers will be there and there will be enough manpower. So that is a way in which social media can be effectively used. And also in current situation when there is a big alert, like monsoon variation is there, the social media collectors are using social media to tell that this will be the action being taken, and the transparency is also imparted using social media. However, there are some issues in which civil servants are not using social media that much responsibly, as we have seen in some cases. So I believe we have to.
Should there be a ban or a policy on that?
Ma'am, I believe rather than a complete ban, we have to make sure that the rules that has been placed is to be understood more effectively, and there should be a push towards responsible usage of social media. Because as an administrator, I believe all these officers are in power of using social media more responsibly, and the virtue of anonymity can be utilized in civil servants using social media. So by their official capacity, they can use social media.
But in your personal capacity, you can't.
I mean, that will be another person. In that aspect, the official things should not be discussed there. As a responsible citizen, they can
Is it
utilize.
possible to draw the line?
Ma'am, I believe it is possible because
You believe that you can do it?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you are a person who knows the strengths of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
This is the year that artificial intelligence is really going to take off, right?
Yes.
How much of your job, your first preference is IAS, would be taken over by AI?
Ma'am, I believe.
How much of it would you like to be taken over by AI?
As
From a
an-
career point of view, certainly not.
no.
If every district collector is an AI person, so what do you do for a living?
No, ma'am. I believe the decisions that I mean, I am not that aware of the daily routine or what are the
That's
small
okay.
things that IAS officer are doing,
Right.
but the routine things like schedule making, those part can be delegated to AI part. However, in a post like collector or IAS officer, there is a lot of complicated decision making happening, and currently we are not in a position to use AI in that aspect. I believe that in the near future, like in the next 10 or 15 years, we might not be in a position to use this complex delegation of power to AI. So rather in the mundane activities, we can delegate
No,
AI.
it will increase only, no?
It will
become
increase,
more
sir.
sophisticated. They are thinking of having a man in the White House,
Yes, sir.
an AI man.
Yes, sir. Like attending a reception, like a reception point or something like that can be okay. But other than that, the decision making part will be more of human intervention will be necessary.
A lot of writing notes, all that can be done. So which means, will the staffing numbers come down? This was a fear when computers were brought in also.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, the whole bureaucracy, there's a whole lot of bureaucracy as under secretaries, deputy secretaries, additional secretaries, joint secretaries to deal with files, right? Writing about what happened or a request. So what happens to that and what is its implication? How do we deal with the implication?
Ma'am, I believe as destructive technology like AI, there will be some disruption that will be happening in the situation. However, we have tackled that earlier, like ma'am said, the computer, introduction of computer, and we will tackle it now also. There will be a lot of work like dealing with note taking and typewriting that will be given to AI. However, we have the option of reskilling the people also. So these people can be reskilled so that like we have done in our power plant project, there will be proper instruction to be given to the AI so that it will work properly. So such reskilling in digital technology can be given to people who are being replaced or who have the problem of being replaced, and thus we can merge to the changes that is happening.
Pick you up on that later, you ask.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So, Lakshmi, differentiate between machine learning and deep learning.
Ma'am, machine learning and
Deep
learning both are related to AI, and machine learning is when we are not explicitly telling the AI or the system what is to be done. We will feed in data and it will learn in the data on its own, and deep learning is a subpart of machine learning where the mechanism used to learn will be more like a human brain structure, like artificial neural networks will be there. This will be learning the data from the data that is being given.
You've heard of ChatGPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's the creator of ChatGPT?
Ma'am, OpenAI.
Okay, and a human being associated with that?
Sam
Altman. You are a student of sociology.
Yes, ma'am.
Name 2 or 3 contemporary Indian social thinkers.
Ma'am,
Contemporary ones, okay? The ones who are living.
yes, the first one will be Andre Patel. Next will be Avijit Pathak, and the third one I believe his ideologies mostly relate to the sociology, that is why Jean Rees.
Okay. Differentiate between modernization and westernization.
Ma'am, westernization in sociological term is a connotation that has been brought about by M.N. Srinivas, which talks about the overall changes that has been brought about by 150 years of interaction with British. Whereas modernization is the changes that has been happened because of the new values and interaction with West. So even though there is a talk between the thinkers that westernization is a more value loaded aspect and we have to go with modernization, this is what I believe.
Name your favorite sociological thinker, Indian or Western?
Ma'am, I like Max Weber the most.
Max Weber. Which concept of him appeals more to you?
Ma'am, the basic concept itself of social reality being multidimensional is something that I like the most, and in that he made all his theory. So it gives the elbow room for everyone to choose between whether we have to view things in a scientific manner or in a more personalized, empathetic manner. And this elbow room and freedom that is being given is what I like the most in
Imai Zukim had conducted a study on suicides. Okay,
Yes.
taking cue from that, taking the findings from that, when there's a war-like situation, the inhabitants of those two countries, which are at war with each other, there the suicide rate is expected to go up or down.
Ma'am, As per Emily Durkheim's theory, when there is a national problem, the suicide rate is going to go down because there will be a solidarity between the people who are facing the problem that is being developed, and that will act against the suicidogenic forces.
Relate that to the COVID situation which prevailed in the world. During that time, what is expected to happen, and are you aware what actually happened?
Ma'am, qualitatively I do not know what has happened, but I believe as per Emily Durkheim's theory, there was a problem that has been facing and the suicide rate was supposed to go down. But the COVID was a once in a lifetime event where everyone was isolated in their own houses, and that is why the social solidarity was a little bit less. But there were aspects where we were making sure that we are reaching out for others. But what has happened to the suicide rate, I am not sure.
Okay. I see you are interested in cardio exercises.
Yes, ma'am.
In recent times, there have been several instances where young and seemingly fit people have got cardio attacks, and apparently fatal ones.
Yes.
Why do you think there is an increasing trend of youngsters and fit people getting cardiac arrests?
Ma'am, there are multiple reasons for this. The first reason is that in the famous actor's death, there is an aspect of COVID related issues that has been put forward as one of the reasons. But if we see generally, there is the lifestyle and the eating pattern that has been affecting us, like the natural, we are going away from the natural cuisine and going for more fat diet and heavy exercises which might not be perfect for our body. So like when I have started cardio exercise, I was more concentrated on YouTube, but I was sure that I am going for minimal exercise in the beginning and improve it as the time goes by. But I have seen people who will go to the high intensity at the first go, and we are not used to these exercises. That is also one reason why the heart is overburdened and cardiac arrest are happening.
Last question from my side. Can you differentiate?
There's a lack of sleep also.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
when you talk of balance in life and lifestyle, add sleep as well. So many of them sacrifice sleep for the exercise.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why after intensive cardiac exercise, actually they collapse.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Last one. Differentiate between cult and sect.
Ma'am, sect is a portion, a group of people who are against the established religious order, and they think their order is more true. They think about original, they being the original ones, and they are against the established religious order, whereas cult is more loosely connected group which concentrate on maybe one aspect or two, and there will be a leader whom these people will be following.
Give me an example of cult.
Ma'am, I am unable to cult.
Osho.
Osho.
Yeah.
Osho's.
Yeah, and there are many more in contemporary times. So
Yes.
just address.
Thank you.
Why aren't there any female sociologists that you like? Not only that you like in India, the question that she asked,
Yes.
or are they?
Yes, ma'am. There are female sociologists, like we have Anne Oakley, we have Margaret Mead. There are many more in
India?
In India. I cannot recall currently.
Ravati Karve.
Ravati Karve. Sorry, ma'am, I forgot that.
Okay.
I think we need to rush.
Yeah. So recently there was a talk in the town about giving high percentage of marks for the SLC students. So how you look at this issue sociologically? Is it good or bad?
Sir.
You are aware of that issue, I think.
Yes, sir.
What was the issue?
The high percentage of mark in public examinations in Kerala, and that was put forward as a reason for implementing the CUET, the Common University Entrance Test.
No, the students who are getting, I mean 97%, 98%,
Yes, sir.
a pass percentage as well as A+, so
Yes.
many A pluses.
Mhm.
This is not a deserving case, that is what the comment was.
Mhm.
So what do you feel about that? More people are getting A+ for
Sir,
in the examination.
The first part is that rather than criticizing it, we have to look it in a critical manner and see whether there is any basis, factual basis for this, because currently we are going through an era of computer and internet where people are having a lot of sources to study from. So the level of examination and performance of people would have been higher. However, if there is any basis for that, we have to make sure that it is addressed. And in sociology, there is a concept of stratification, where we say that the stratification is there for the most efficient person to come forward. So such a high pass percentage will nullify the utility of public examination. So we have to address.
What is the percentage of the topper, percentage of mark for the topper in IAS civil service examination? Any idea?
Sir, I believe it is around 50%.
Yeah, whereas in all other examinations it is 97, 98, 100% even.
Yes.
Then what is this difference? UPSC is very bad in giving marks or not?
No, sir. I don't believe that that is the reason. But I believe the UPSC is making multiple constraints for the people to write. Like there is time constraint, space constraint, and words constraint with which you have to write, and that is why we are compromising on the quality at times.
You know that ChatGPT failed in the UPSC.
Yes,
You know
sir.
that?
Yes, sir.
So they're trying.
Okay, sir. Now, you have written in Forest Service examination. What was your elective subject there?
Sir, forestry and geology.
So why you didn't choose any of those subjects for civil services examination? So now you studied 3 subjects: forestry, geology, and then now sociology. Is it not overburdening you in your preparations?
Sir, first of all, I took sociology because I have a genuine interest towards this subject.
Yeah.
I like to interact with people, and I understood that sociology gave me more understanding about why the society is like that and all the unknown barriers and possibilities that we are having. So that is why I took sociology for civil services examination. In case of the forest examination, there was no sociology, so I could not go for that. That is why I went for 2 other subjects, and I understood that geology, having a understanding in geography, there will be some understanding, and it's also a science subject. So I will be more. It will be more easy for me to understand, and forestry because it have available material.
Okay.
Hi Lakshmi,
And
you are from Malappuram, right?
yes, sir.
Do you know there are 3 agriculture products in Malappuram which hold geographical indication, GI tag. Do you know what are those?
Ma'am, I don't know all 3, but I know one, that is Tirur betel leaf.
Tirur betel, you know, because you are from Edappa, it's
Yes,
nearby.
yes.
There are 2 other products.
Okay.
One is Nilambur teak and Edayur Molaga.
Yes. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And you know India's only existing hunter-gatherer tribes lives in your districts. Do you know that?
I have to
You are a
read.
sociology student.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
India's existing only hunter-gatherer tribes, that is PVTG, Cholanaika, they are living in Nilambur forest. You are a sociology student, that is very important.
Sure, sir. I will
And
read.
you know Kudumishri.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the connection between Kudumishri and Malappuram?
Ma'am, the pilot project or the concept of Kudumashri have started in Malappuram.
Where it is got inaugurated?
That also important.
That is awesome. And one last question from my side. You have been practicing mindfulness, right? How
Yes.
many years?
I have been meditating for a long time, like 2 years I have been practicing meditation, but Centangle I have been doing since the past 5 to 6 months.
Okay. Have you seen the latest National Health Surveys report on mental health issues?
No, ma'am, I
Where
haven't.
there is a clear indication that suicide rate which is actually increasing in Kerala. So do you think our mental health is such a sake as a point of primary? You are also a sociology student and you are practicing mindfulness also. Do you think it's a high time that government need to take a policy or need to take action on the mental health of the Kerala society?
Yes, ma'am. I believe that there is an increasing rate of suicide because some Lancet report have quoted that suicide rate is more in South India rather than in North India. So we have to address the problem of increased suicidal rate, and central government already have included the suicide in legislations.
No, particular context of Kerala I am asking.
Yes, ma'am, because in Kerala the suicide is more because of educated unemployment and increased aspiration. So we need to have a dedicated policy for suicide, to address suicide.
Okay,
How about
that's
cutting
all.
down alcohol?
So there are multiple reasons actually, not only this. It's actually need an essay. So
Alcohol
we
could be a
don't
reason
really
for suicide also.
It's actually a it's a complicated issue. There are thousands of factors involved in
Yes,
it.
Do movies
No,
lead
that's-
to increase suicide?
So what has he proved?
Do newspapers, the news of suicides lead to increased suicides?
He was taking PhD.
Okay, I think we should conclude here.
Okay, that's all from my side.
You want to tell us something? To improve?
ഈ രണ്ട് കാര്യം മലപ്പുറത്തിന് you have to know about thorough things. These things, especially sociology aspects also, മലപ്പുറത്ത് നോക്കേണ്ട അണ്ടർ ഏജ് മാരേജ് റീസെൻ്റ് റിപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് മലപ്പുറത്താണ് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ. അപ്പം ആ ഒരു പോയിന്റ് ഓഫ് വ്യൂ നോക്കണം. പിന്നെ ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കുമ്പോഴേ ആ മെമ്പർ മാത്രം നോക്കി സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റും.
No, generally there will be a lot of focus on Kerala in these interviews because there are a lot of social problems. Of course, the previous Chief Minister actually told us that the problem is we keep accounts of everything, and that is where it gets projected, you know. But that is only a consolation. So he feels that there are worse things happening in other states, but they don't report it. But that may be a kind of optimistic assessment. But the situation is that Kerala is sui generis in several ways. So particularly sociology, if you have done that, then you will have all these questions. So you better. But you are very good on the whole. I was very happy with the conversation. It was a very natural, flowing conversation. You're not stuck anywhere. You had answers. So you will do well.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Any other?
you were good. You're very good. So, all the best.
Thank you.
Next year you will sit here.
Yeah,
right?
continue.
Next year you will sit here.
Continue to read till your interview so that on all the areas that, including sociology, including your work, since you are an electronic engineer, all the best.
Thank you.
പിന്നെ ആൻസർ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഒരു മെമ്പറാണ് ചോദിച്ചെങ്കിലും എല്ലാവരെയും നോക്കി പറഞ്ഞാൽ കുറച്ചുകൂടി
Oscillating fan.
എല്ലാവരും നോക്കി പറഞ്ഞാൽ
You have to be an oscillating fan.
Lakshmi, you are good and you stand good chances also. Okay, just believe in yourself, keep on reading, brushing up current affairs, etc. Balanced viewpoint, articulate, logical, we felt
And cool.
nice.
She never lost her.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dress ഇത് തന്നെ മതിയാവുക.
No, yeah, so you are going to wear a sari, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, wear a sari. When is the interview? Ladies know.
No, it's not
Okay,
yet.
so you still have time.
Yes.
But yeah, do wear a sari.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.